Good morning. If December has you running on cookies and caffeine and a little bit of Christmas lights, then this is the right place for you. So today I'm going to show you how to reset your energy so you can not only feel your best, but you can also continue to reach your weight loss goals during this time frame. So let's talk about a little bit about why December feels so out of sorts. Okay. December feels out of sorts because you don't have a routine. Because when you're leaving work, you have 55 other things to do. We have this running joke in my house that mama is not stopping on her way home from work. She's just not. Like, she's been at work all day, she's not stopping. And but in December, you can't really get away with that. And so there's no routine, even though there's still work, even though there's still responsibilities, right? We act like December is this full time vacation, and December is not a vacation. December is wide open, taking care of everybody and everything with like 2 days off. Like, that's what December is. And so, but we're still doing like 10x of what needs to be done, really, because so much of it's unnecessary. But so there's less routine. And at my house, and I know this to be true for the moms I coach, when there's less routine, when the routine goes down, the stress levels go way up. And when the stress levels go way up, there's more snacks, right? There's more eating in your car. There's more grabbing. There's more getting an hors d'oeuvre at a party. There's more. Tomorrow, my little girl has two Christmas parties, right? Two Christmas parties. So not only are you trying to get to your work Christmas party and your friend's Christmas party and all the Christmas parties with your families, you're also trying to get each individual child to their Christmas parties and show up with the appropriately wrapped ornament that you got an email about yesterday that says it needs to be there at 4 or whatever. So, December is the time where most women lose momentum. They just do. They give up and they say, I'll start back over in January. And that's really, you can lose so much progress in December. Like, you don't have to be full on trying to lose 10 pounds in December, but what I don't want is you to be not on at all and you gain 5 or 7 pounds, because that is the typical holiday weight gain between November and January for women that are not paying attention. It can certainly happen. So I don't want you to lose momentum. And if you're feeling like you just don't know where to go with this, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you're exhausted. And you can't lose the fat when your energy is on zero. So, what we're going to learn about today is how low energy kills your consistency, how to eat for energy. You're going to hear all about the don't have time mom method, because I was that mom forever. We're going to revisit my R.E.A.L, R-E-A-L macro method in case you just need to not think about it in December. And that's where most of my women are. We're going to use this rhythm all month long, and it's going to help you reset anytime you fall off. So you're going to walk away with a plan today that you can start today that actually helps you. So you do not have a motivation problem. You have an energy problem. When women tell me they're so inconsistent, usually inconsistency is a sign of exhaustion. So when we fix your energy, is when we can fix that, not when we belittle ourselves and bully ourselves into doing better or into having more discipline. That's not your problem. That's not your problem. So why does low energy kill fat loss? Well, let's chat about it for just a second. And I'm a visual person, so I hope this is helpful for you. So when your energy levels are low, think about 3 p.m. at your desk, you're exhausted. What happens? Your cravings increase. That's when you want to run to the vending machine or this time of year to the break room because people have delivered things, right? There was some baklava in my break room the other day. I don't even like baklava, but I ran past the break room because I was running down the hall to do something for somebody else. And I was in a stressed sort of mood. And I thought for a second, I'll just take a bite of that. Y'all don't even like baklava. So that is what happens. My energy was low. So my cravings, even though for something I don't even want, were increased. So when our cravings are increased, that's when our snacking goes up. And when we eat something like this, we snack on something we shouldn't, and our sugar goes up, our glucose goes up. Guess what goes down? You may not even recognize this, but the next time you have it, you'll notice it. Your patience goes down. Your patience goes down. Your sugar, your glucose has gone up. Now your patience is low. And if you haven't already worked out that day, you are likely to skip it because now that your blood sugar went up, after your patience goes low, your blood sugar is going to come down because there's nothing to sustain it. There's nothing to keep it on steady state. So you're going to skip your workout because you don't feel good. And then you're going to overeat at night because you're going to run in at home and you're going to start sticking things in your mouth because you're hungry, because you're angry, because you're grouchy. And so this is when you eat the box of Cheez-Its or the container of cookies or the charcuterie board at the get-together or whatever. Because when your energy drops, science takes over. The 3 a.m., the 3 p.m. crash is not willpower, friends. It's not because you can't do better. It's not because you don't know better. It's because you don't have the proper fuel. You don't have the proper fuel. It is biology 101. You do not have the energy in the battery to keep going. So that's where my don't have time mom method comes in. Why did I name it that? Because that was me forever. People would ask me a question and I'd say, I don't have time. People would say, hey, we're getting together doing something. I'd say, I don't have time. People would say, hey, we're going to work out this afternoon. I'd say, I don't have time. People would say, hey, you want to go grab lunch? I don't have time. Hey, do you want to do so-and-so? I don't have time. I mean, I learned that as I was growing up. And then I created that lifestyle for myself where every single minute had zero margin in it. It was all scheduled. And so if anything happened that needed margin, I didn't have time for it. And that bled into my health. And it bled into my nutrition. So the don't have time mom grabs something all the time. She doesn't have time to pack her lunch. So she grabs Wendy's because it's closest to her office. She doesn't have time to pack her lunch. So she grabs a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit on the way to work. She doesn't have time to plan a meal. So she grabs pizza on the way home for dinner. That's what this mom does. The don't have time mom does. But we're going to break the don't have time mom method by doing these little bitty baby steps that are going to change habits for you. So the first step in the don't have time mom method is you're going to fuel early. Now, for those of my friends that have done Faster Way with me, this is just a little tweak. Okay, this is not going to upend all of your fasting. It's just going to help you a little bit. Okay, when we intermittent fast, studies have shown that anything over 10 hours, is actually effective for fat loss. Okay, so 16 hours is great. 16 hours is a great intermittent fast. But some of my women who are having hormone difficulties who are having trouble breaking through plateaus, they need to fuel earlier, and it's because of this specifically. It's because they're running on empty. So if you're just getting started with me and you've never heard any of this information before and you've been intermittent fasting, it may be that you need to start with step one. You may need to fuel early, and we'll go into that in just a second. My second step is anchor meals. We at my house eat basically the same thing all the time. It's not sexy, but it's real life and it's doable. And so you do not have to reinvent the wheel when it comes time to create dinner every night. Because if you're trying to reinvent the wheel, especially in December, the wheels on the car will come off. You're not going to get it reinvented. So, and then we're going to talk about some 5-minute resets that you can do that will give you the brain power to have a successful December. And then we're going to talk about macro awareness, not obsession. Because macros, when it comes to counting macros, you can go one of two directions. You can know about macros and never count them, or you can obsess over them. And what we want to do is hit a happy medium when it comes to December. Because not caring about them at all won't help you. And obsessing over every little gram of fiber will drive you bananas, literally. So that's what we're going to talk about. So this method, I created this method for real life mamas, for the ones that eat in between clients, for the ones that eat in between patients, for the ones that are driving to sports practices every afternoon, for the ones that drive an hour and a half to work one way, for the ones that have to get up super early and can't do all the things in the morning. This removes all that pressure and gives you a structure. Okay, so let's break it down just a little bit so that you have a better idea of what each piece looks like. Okay, so let's start with fuel early, and I do not mean coffee and creamer, friends. What does fuel early mean to you? So when I say fuel early, I mean at least by 10. If you are intermittent fasting, what that means is that if you stopped eating at 8 o'clock the night before, then this is a 14-hour fast. And that's an excellent fast for fat burning. So don't feel like you're giving up something. You're actually helping your body in December to try to keep up. Okay? So what should you have by 10 a.m.? You should have protein and carbs. Okay? What does that look like? Well, when we are carb cycling, we are limited on the number of carbs that we can eat per day. And that's something that I teach in my 21-day challenge and I teach in my one-on-one consults. But when we're carb cycling, you're limited on these carbs, okay? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't eat some by 10 a.m. So what this looks like for me is yogurt and either an apple or a piece of fruit like a banana or some berries. Berries are an excellent source of fiber and carbs. And so I would do my Greek yogurt for my protein. And you need a Greek yogurt that's high in protein. I usually choose Too Good yogurt, or I choose the Aldi brand. That's the 2G yogurt, which is a knockoff. It's an excellent source of proteins, like 15 grams of protein. And then I choose my carbohydrates. So I'm going to choose either berries or a sprinkle of granola, not a quarter of a cup, just a sprinkle. An apple is a great carbohydrate here. A banana is a great carbohydrate here. Those are all whole food, but you need something by 10 a.m. to keep your blood sugar stable. Okay, this kills the 3 p.m. crash. When you fuel your body early, your body stays stable, and just that stable blood sugar can cut your cravings by 50%. Y'all, that's huge. That's like That all these peptides everybody's selling, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to cut your cravings just by eating proteins and carbs by 10. Science tells us that you cut your cravings by 50%. That's huge. That's a natural peptide. So that's what we want to do. That's what we mean by fuel early. Okay. We want to eat a protein and carb by 10 a.m. and that will decrease our cravings by 50%. You're already winning the day. You're already winning. Okay. Let's talk about our second step. Our second part of this method are anchor meals. What do I mean by anchor meals? Anchor meals are things that we can repeat. Okay? Anchor meals look like a protein, a carb, and a fat. A protein, a carb, and color. A protein, a carb, and things that come from the ground or have a mother. Okay? This is a roasted chicken. This is brown rice. And this is a vegetable. What are some of my favorite things to do? In a rush, right? But I need proteins, carbs, and fats. I love to do rotisserie chicken. I love to do 90-second rice. And I love to do those vegetables the green giant vegetables that you can get in the freezer section. That is a repeatable meal. It's not fancy. Okay. But I love to do those things because they are easy and they can be done at home. I love to do pre-made hamburger patties. Oftentimes my kids will eat those on the bun and I'll eat those as a bowl. Okay, so I will eat those with either quinoa or rice and vegetables as the base, with the meat as the protein and the fat. That is an anchor meal at our house. Spaghetti is an anchor meal at our house. It's simple. It's repeatable. It's something you can do. You may have heard, oh, well, you shouldn't be eating pasta at home or whatever. That's bad for you. It is a carbohydrate. Pasta is a carbohydrate. And in the absence of a gluten sensitivity, there's no reason why you can't eat pasta at home. There's no reason why you can't do that as one of your anchor meals. We love to do taco bowls at our house. My kids eat them in shells. I eat them as a bowl. Everybody's happy. It is repeatable. It is something we can do over and over. So, roasted chicken, 90-second rice, microwave veggie, anchor meal, taco bowl, anchor meal, spaghetti, anchor meal. Now, with this spaghetti, I'm going to serve a veggie of some sort. Every one of these things can be thrown in a container for the next day for your lunch. So when you're putting food away after dinner, you just put some of this in a container, you take it for lunch the next day. Now you're eating whole food at your workplace too. And it's already done. Remember when you didn't have time to make your lunch? You just made it. You just made it, you're going to take it with you. Easy peasy. Look, women are not overeating because they love food. I find very few women that just love to eat. They're overeating because they're underfueled. Because the day before or 2 days before, they did not eat enough food and now they're starving. Okay, so, but when we have things like this, you're unstoppable. This is 3 nights of your week. Imagine if you just repeated 1 or 2 of these. Now you have 5 nights. You have leftovers. You make extra. Any of this stuff can be done. This could be a roast that you put in the crock pot. This could be a taco bowl. You could do taco soup for winter. That's easy. And that's all whole food. And that's an anchor meal. So we've fueled early. We've had our anchor meals, but we still like get stressed out and we don't understand why. And that's why I created the 5-minute reset. So many things that come from what we put in our mouth and how we take care of our body all have to do with our mind. So anytime we fall off the wagon, we've decided it's completely over with and we can't do it anymore, and we give up. And so when you feel that way, I want you to do these few things. It could happen to you today. It could happen to you tomorrow. You could wake up on Monday and say, forget it. I'll start back on January the 5th. But this is why I don't want you to do that, because you're going to be clawing back on the progress that you've lost. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to be healthy and happy rolling into January and not wishing you had done something in December. So my 5-minute reset includes water. It includes a protein. Okay. It includes a quick movement. And it includes back to routine. Anytime you feel this way, like it's the end of the road for you, you've given up, you've done all you can, I want you to go drink a glass of water. I want you to eat a protein-rich snack, okay? I want you to grab, you can do deli turkey with some cheese. You can do some yogurt. You can do a handful of dried edamame. You can do anything like that. Grab it, stick it in your mouth, chew it up and swallow it. I want you to take a quick walk around your office. I want you to take a quick walk around the parking lot. I want you to take a quick walk around your neighborhood. I'm not talking 20 minutes, I'm talking 7. Go get some movement under your feet. Circulate the blood, girl. Go. Go. It will change your mindset. I promise you. You can sit there at your desk. You can sit there on the couch. You can sit there in the recliner. You can wallow in it, or you can get up and change the direction of your day. And then when you get back, I want you to get back into your routine and start back over. You have not lost a thing by having a negative thought unless you sit there and you wallow in it. You start now. You don't start over tomorrow. You start now. The next step is now. The 7 minutes after you get back from this, that's when you start back. Okay? And then when we talk about our next step, it's a little more detailed. If you've worked with me, you know what macros are and you know how to count them. And if you haven't worked with me yet, I will teach you how to do that. But if you are counting macros this month, I just want you to be aware of your macros. And those of you that will start working with me before the month is over, I will teach you how to do this. Macro awareness is critical in December. Macro obsession is not. You don't need to be obsessed over your macros. You don't need to needle yourself over that 5 grams of protein you didn't eat. You don't need to needle yourself because you went over on fat because you went to a get together and they had, I don't know, y'all. I keep going back to a charcuterie board because I love a charcuterie board. Don't turn me loose at one. I love them, but there's barely any protein. There's some carbs. It's fat. Okay, so if you get turned loose with some olives and some cheese, then you're going to go over on your fat. Okay, so I want you to be aware of your macros. For instance, I have an office party in 2 weeks. It's going to be heavy, fatty hors d'oeuvres. Okay, I'm not going to choose one of all of them, but I am probably going to choose some of it. So that day, I will go heavy on the protein. I will do low fat, lean protein that day. I may even have a protein shake that day. I will fuel up on whole food carbs that day that are high in fiber because I know that I'm going to enjoy those things at the party that evening. That's macro awareness. Macro obsession would be, oh my gosh, I only have 12 grams of fat. What am I going to do? And oh my gosh, well, if I don't eat anything today, then I can gorge tonight at the party. Or oh my gosh, do you see how that's just not helpful? And it's not healthy. Okay. So while we're here, I want to chit chat just a minute about office parties and alcohol. Okay. I don't personally partake in alcohol, but I know that a lot of my friends do. When it comes to fat loss, I just need you to know you do not burn fat for 24 hours after the consumption of alcohol, period. So if you consume alcohol at a party on Thursday night and Friday night and Saturday night, you will not burn fat again until Monday. And so that's just something you need to be aware of. That's not me judging you. I don't even know how much alcohol you had but it's just even just one drink stops the fat burning process. Your liver cannot detoxify alcohol and burn fat at the same time. And that's okay. I just need you to know that. So if you're like, why do I feel so blah? And we chit chat and you had a party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that may be why. It may take you several days to revamp over that. So just be aware. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have that glass of champagne if that's what you want. I just need you to be aware that you won't burn fat. No big deal. Just don't be expecting a big change in your body composition that week because you're probably not going to get it. Um, so we don't need to be perfect tracking, but we need to be aware. Proteins, carb timing, fiber, fat. This is where my real macro method comes in. And it's my favorite to talk about, my favorite to teach. It is the reason my clients are so successful, and I'm so excited to share it with you. R.E.A.L. It's my signature macro system for women who want results. Okay? It's how my women lose fat. It's how my women lose weight. So let's talk about what it means. The first letter, R, stands for recognize. Recognize what your body needs. Your body needs proteins, your body needs fibers, your body needs carbs, and your body needs enough energy to function. Y'all, restriction has killed energy for women. Cutting carbs has killed energy for women. Low-fat diets have killed energy for women. And we've sat by and we've followed trendiness and done it anyway because we wanted to lose the same 10 pounds our sister-in-law lost, and she looks great, and we want to look good in our pictures too. I'm just here to tell you, all those trendy diets, all of those things that all of those women are trying now, y'all, it's not new. It's been around forever. And it has failed forever, which is why you start over. But you don't have to start over when you do what I teach. So my R.E.A.L macro method starts with recognize. We recognize that we need every macro. We need them all. We need carbs, we need proteins, we need fats, we need fiber. We need every stinking bit of it. Our bodies were designed, and that's what God made us to consume. And then he gave it to us in the world, and we're going to eat it. So we recognize that we need all those things, and then we execute. When we work together, I help you set your custom macros, and that's what you execute in the second step of my R.E.A.L method. You execute eating the macros that I give you and how I teach you to do it. The goal is not to perfectly track them. The goal is to decide that you are going to do it and we are going to start meal by meal making it happen. This is the part that people get hung up on the most when we first get started. And then I think this is the part that becomes the easiest. Execution of eating macros for me is not difficult anymore. And I think that's the same with most of my clients. It just comes naturally. Once you learn how to do it, it just comes naturally. And it's easier to do the longer you do it. And it's also easier to do the longer you do it and the better you feel. Once you feel really good eating the foods that we talk about that kind of fit in your numbers, it just becomes it runs in the background, which is what we want. We want your fueling your body to run in the background. Adjust is what A stands for. And it can be one of the most difficult things when it comes to my R.E.A.L method. This is where you win, though. This is the nitty gritty. This is where when you miss your breakfast, you add in something at lunch so that you're not low. This is when you're going to a holiday party, you eat the protein earlier because life isn't perfect. So adjustment is where the wins are made. And this is important. Learning how to adjust and not just be in a box when it comes to eating macros and counting macros. This is really where the change occurs, is when you learn to adjust. Going on vacation, right? Are we going to blow it out of the water or are we going to adjust? Well, if we want to be successful with it, we're going to adjust. And then live, friends. That is what L stands for, is to live. Because macros are simply a foundation for fat loss, but they're not a life sentence. You can learn them so that you live your life without starting over every Monday. You can learn how to adjust and execute and recognize and all the things with your macros so that it just runs in the background and you lose the weight that you want to lose. So what does this all mean for you? Well, you have, I'll actually send it to you later when this masterclass is over with. I have a December meal rhythm for you. And it's going to combine my two methods for you. So it's going to talk to you about proteins and carbs by 10, eating a real lunch, having an intentional snack, having a family dinner, resetting for 5 minutes if you need it. That is the rhythm for December. It is simple, it is doable, and it works even on the busiest days. So let's talk a little bit about examples of what to eat. And I think this can be so helpful for you. A lot of times that's the very main reason women come to me. They're like, I don't even know what to eat. Well, it's a great question because it can be so difficult. We don't know what to eat when we're first getting started because we've been taught for years and years to do one thing and it turns out that's not what we needed. So how do we learn what we're supposed to do? Well, I'm going to show you. So we're going to still follow the R.E.A.L method, right? The recognize, knowing what your body needs, the execution, doing one simple thing that moves you forward. We're going to adjust. We're going to make the flexible swaps without falling off. And we are going to eat like a human. Okay? Not like a raccoon over a garbage can. And that's going to help you be successful. So let's talk about kind of what a real breakfast looks like. And we talked about this, like doing this by 10, right? Scrambled eggs, handful of spinach, slice of whole grain toast or a half a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of berries, teaspoon of almond butter. Do you see where that is proteins, carbs, fats, fiber? But none of it is hard to do. Okay, so you recognize that your body needs fuel, so you're going to give it the fuel. The 5-minute breakfast that you can make while the kids are running around. You can swap the oatmeal for the toast. You can swap the eggs for the Greek yogurt, whatever. I mean, you just need the protein, you need the carbs, you need the fats. Make it happen in that grouping. None of this is a recipe. None of this is a meal prep. This was easy. Eggs, spinach, toast with almond butter, side of berries. Don't want the eggs? Okay, cool. Greek yogurt, berries, toast with almond butter. Same difference. Same difference. So that's our breakfast. I have a great resource. It's called the Desk Lunch Builder. So you should see that as an option in your follow-up email in this masterclass, which has phenomenal ideas. But one of my ideas in that Desk Lunch Builder is this lunch. It's 3 or 4 ounces of grilled chicken, a cup of roasted veggies, a half a cup of rice, and a teaspoon of olive oil or a slice of avocado. Easy peasy. Why does that work? So it works because midday crashes are real. And if your lunch is too small, you will crash at 3 p.m. and it's simply a fuel issue. You can build this the night before as you're putting dinner away. This is one of your anchor meals. Throw it in a container for the next day for your lunch. You can swap the chicken for the turkey. You can swap all of that for lean ground beef. You can swap the rice for the potatoes. Any of that can be switched and swapped, and it doesn't matter. We want to get like kind of tied up on the details of that. It doesn't matter. Whatever your preference is, what do you like? Okay, eat that. Inside these parameters, it's still going to be a success. Just make sure you have proteins, carbs, and fats, and you won't crash at 3. Um, I offer you in this a little mini snack or a little mini meal at in the afternoon. And the reason I do that is because I want you to not be starving when you get home. Because when you get home, the kids are all asking you what's for dinner before they ask you anything else. And I don't want you stressed and hungry. So in the afternoons, I oftentimes will eat like a small apple. I will oftentimes eat a handful of almonds. Sometimes I will eat like a flavored tuna pouch with some whole grain crackers. That's helpful. That's all. Like the apple is a protein. I mean, the apple is a carb, so you'll need to pair that with some protein. So maybe a string cheese, maybe a few almonds for fat, maybe a little bit of Greek yogurt for protein. And then with the tuna, that's protein and carbs with the crackers. So any of that will keep you full until you get home for dinner. It works because it helps, not have that 3 p.m. crash. And then it's grab and go. It's not something you got to sit down and think about. Okay. A protein shake works here if you're going to pair it with a carbohydrate. I'm not a fan of protein shakes in the absence of anything else because then it's just sloshy protein in your gut. And you need something that protein's not going to give you energy. So just be mindful of that. Protein does not give you energy. Protein helps you build lean muscle. You need carbohydrates for energy. And then when you get home, you're going to once again have one of your anchor meals. You're going to have 4 to 5 ounces of a lean fish or a chicken or lean ground beef. You're going to have a cup of a veggie. Think something hearty like roasted potatoes, roasted sweet potatoes, butternut squash, something like Brussels sprouts is a delicious fall kind of wintry veggie that's really yummy and really helpful for not only giving you energy, but keeping your blood sugar stable and keeping you steady. This is a great time to add in a salad. This is a great time to add in some green beans or asparagus because you still need fuel at dinner. Okay, we've got to eat all of our macros. Sheet pan or air fryer now. Make it easy. Throw in the oven while you're doing something else. Swap the sweet potato for the pasta. Swap the sweet potato for the rice. Whatever. A carb is a carb is a carb is a carb. It all gives you energy. What is your preference? And then you sit down and you eat with your family and you're not on a diet and you're not eating a separate meal. For years and years, I would eat something different for my family. I would sit down and I would drink a protein shake while they were eating. I would sit down and I would eat a grilled chicken salad. I would sit down and I would do something weird it was obvious that I was on a diet. And I refuse to coach my clients that way because that took a lot of it really, my daughter recognized that I was on a diet. And we've spent a lot of time going over why that was not good and why she doesn't need to be on a diet and why you don't need to cut calories. And so I refuse to look different from my family. Now, there are some options I'm going to choose on my plate, but they don't notice it. They don't notice it because they're all good for me options. They're all healthy options. They're not restriction options. So let's talk a little bit about why you might need somebody to help you with these things. If you've never, if you've tried all the diets, but you've never had help and you think that that help is too expensive and that help is something that you're not necessarily interested in, I want to talk to you a little bit about why you might need help. And it's a personal story, not for macros, but a personal story of how I needed help with something else. So I have been eyeballing these red light therapy masks because I don't know if y'all can tell, I've got some kind of some deep creases on my forehead and right here. And it's something that I just don't want to do Botox for. I want to do something that's helpful and more natural. And so I've been craving one of these red light therapy masks, but I was waiting for it to go on sale. And so it went on sale. And so I ordered myself one for Christmas and it came in. And the instructions were sort of vague. Like they were there, but they were just kind of blah. Like, yeah, there was 2 plugins. It came with 2 plugins and lots of insertions on the mask. And so there's a controller and there's a plug-in that goes into the wall and then there's a plug-in that goes into the mask. And I did them all in different variations and I could not get the blasted thing to turn on. And I had decided that it was broken. And so I sent the company an email and said, this is broken. What do I do? How am I going to get my money back? And I really kind of sold up about it because number one, it had been a long day at work and I was looking forward to coming home and putting that mask on my face and seeing the miracle that it was going to cause. I mean, that's just what I wanted. I was ready. I was ready to, it's just like my clients that eat their macros one day and they're mad because the next day they haven't lost any weight. I was ready. I was ready. And so my husband came to bed and he was like, oh, you got your new thing? I'm like, yeah, but it's broken. He's like, what do you mean it's broken? I'm like, it's broken. It doesn't work. I tried it all. I did all the things. It doesn't work. I've already emailed the company. He's like, okay. So the next morning, I said, hey, before I send this back, will you just look at it for me? Maybe I've done something wrong. And he said, well, what did you plug in? And I said, well, I plugged it all in. I tried every option. I tried every variation. And none of it worked. And he's like, well, Jill, this plug-in goes here and it goes to the controller. And then this plug-in goes to the mask and he turned it on. Y'all, he turned it on. He turned it on and it worked. And I was so irritated. I'm like, I tried all that. He's like, I know, but you didn't try it in the right combination. I needed him. He actually makes phones work for a living. He's an expert. I needed the expert to show me how to make it work. The vague instructions that it came with didn't help me. And that's what I want to talk to you about. You've probably seen MyFitnessPal. You've probably seen all the prep containers. You've probably seen all the things on TikTok. You've probably seen all the girls on Instagram. They can give you vague instructions. They can show you, they can have you open up the box and give you vague instructions. But sometimes someone's got to show you what to plug up. And that's exactly what I do. I show you how to plug things up in the right way in order to make fat loss work for your body. Your body is different. Your body is not the same as your sister-in-law's body who went on the keto diet and lost 10 pounds before the wedding. Your body's different. Your body is not the same as your best friend who runs 20 miles a week and she's able to stay thin. Your body's different. And when we start working together, I ask you specific things about your body so that your macros are set effectively. And then I teach you how to eat for them. Because when it comes to fitness and nutrition, I do for you what my husband just did for me. I show you exactly how to make it work. So, for the remaining of the month of December, there are several different ways for you to work with me. You can join my next 21-day challenge, which starts in January, but you get access to it now when you join. And that will fill up. I will limit that because it gets so big in the month of January. And my women cannot get the support they need if I let it get too big. So I will limit those spots. I have 5 spots for one-on-one nutrition counseling. And so you get a one-on-one spot, and then you get an option to work with me for the next 3 months one-on-one. And then I have my desk lunch builder guide that I will send to you for free. So all of those options will be in the follow-up email that you get with this video on the replay, because you deserve an expert to help you. You deserve to lower your blood pressure. You deserve to lower your cholesterol. You deserve to be like my client, Chris, who has lost 50 pounds since February. And his nurse practitioner called him the other day after his visit and wanted to give him a hug because all of his numbers look better. Not just the weight, but his cholesterol's come down, his blood pressure's come down, his A1C has come down, all the things have come down. You can be like my client, Erin, who texted me yesterday, who's lost 70 inches since February. 70, just by working with me. Together, we have helped her lose the weight. I'm not the secret sauce. She is. But she needed the guidance to learn exactly what to do. Once you learn what to do, it's like it's on autopilot. It's unbelievable. But the accountability that you have in my group, and the accountability that you have one-on-one with me, it's so valuable because it's the expert that shows you what to plug things into, so that you don't send your red light therapy mask back, so that you don't decide this is not for you, so that you get the results that you really want to get finally after all these years. So I want you to review all of these things. I'm going to send it in the replay. The R.E.A.L macro counting method that we've just talked about, and the I don't have time mom method. And those 2 things in combination are going to help you crush December. You can walk away from this right here and crush the rest of the month. But if you're ready to move forward with real results that will last you for the rest of your life, then you can join my one-on-one counseling and nutrition, or you can join my 21-day challenge. And both of those links will be available in the follow-up email that you get on this video. So thank you for joining me on this Saturday. I hope that you leave with some knowledge, and you can always respond to that email that says connect with me and ask me any questions about any of the things we talked about today. And go crush your December. Have the best Saturday, and we will talk really, really soon. Bye.